Tate got banned because he was saying jokes and then acting as if they weren't jokes. He's a smart guy who is also very funny. And he's actually hysterical. He's actually thoughtful too. And his mistake was going, I really am this. This is who I am. I am not playing a character, which he was. I am this, and I've embodied this, and this is who I am, and this is what people should believe.
He's playing a character with most of the things he's saying. And
listen.
And you're not saying anything different from me, because if you really look at why he got banned, it's because of the influence on the impressionable minds.
And the reason why it was influential is because he was like, this is real, and this is how you have this life, and this is how you do these things. He's also said other things that obviously don't get highlighted at all, but like he's worked incredibly hard at the things that he's done and been incredibly successful at those things. It takes a lot of dedication and discipline to do those things. The guy's smart. If you hear him talk, you understand he's smart.
I had more podcasts.
Exactly, and he finds a way. He found a way to hack the system. It was like, it was really brilliant the way he did it. I think his miscalculation, which I've even heard him talk about, is he's like, now I wish I rephrased them. You never get to the point where you can't control your narrative. And this is the problem with having the removal of access to either YouTube or Twitch or any of these things. Like, going out there and getting canceled for fun is not good because you can't control your narrative. Now you got to go on other people's shows and be... I mean, if you look at the Piers Morgan thing that Tate did, it's like it was this onslaught of questions. He couldn't actually articulate what he wanted to say, and you're at the whim of these other people. Never get to the point where you can't go on a platform and reach millions of people and say exactly how you feel about your situation. You were in a position where people were trying to mischaracterize you, right? You had a million different outlets to go out and say exactly what happened, clear the narrative. If you didn't, if you were canceled, you're what people say you are.
Yeah, but also, here's a very big difference, right? And I always go back to, I'm like, you know, in the level that I'm at now, when I do interviews with people for the first time and they're trying to like figure out my past, the only thing they always, you know, and I always talk to Charlamagne about it, and he said, you're lucky that's the only thing that they could really try to hold on to is like the war in Chirac shit, right? And if that was an ideology.
Well, I wasn't talking about that.
No, I know, but imagine if that was an ideology that I was still having to live to. Yeah. Because here's the thing with Tate. Does Tate get that popular without someone, like, it's not what he was saying. He was also packaging it better than anybody that sounded like him. That came with jokes.
Unique
that
thoughts.
came with that came with tongue-in-cheek comments. So again,
so funny.
There's a lot of those guys.
Funny.
Yeah.
So again, it's like you can't really just kind of say to him now, like, well, if you didn't say that back then, that's all part of why he got to here. Yeah. That's why I've also said, and shit, I told my dudes at Fresh and Fit, I said, yo, that rhetoric is not meant for the mainstream. That rhetoric
is meant for niche groups.
For a niche group.
Once it goes mainstream, then you risk cancellation. I think that's why, like, the beauty of having an art form, the beauty of having stand-up, or the beauty of having music is you're allowed to touch these topics that are really radioactive in a way where people can digest them. There are jokes that I have that are way more sexist than anything Tate said, but they're funny and it's clearly a joke, so now the information can get out there. Not like I'm trying to like push out truths or whatever, I push out comedy. But when you're going, this is who I am this person, this is my life.
And pushing ideology.
And pushing ideology, which is very important. Now, I think what Tate did is he had this rise to fame that was meteoric, right? Because he was so salacious. My assumption, and I would love to hear what he has to say about it, is that if he reduced how salacious it was by, let's say, 20%, 40%, doesn't matter, it wouldn't be as fast, but it still could rise because at the end of the day, he's an engaging speaker and he's very entertaining. So it's like, how do I get there while at the same time reducing the radioactivity of it? If you look at Ben Shapiro, right? So he was either trolling Mike Brown or Trayvon Martin. I forget exactly what it was, but like on the anniversary of the death, yikes, there was a troll tweet that I think is still out there. He made his bones being salacious. Maybe not as salacious as Tate, but it was salacious. He was antagonistic. He was pushing. Now, he's retracted. He even put out a book where he's like, we got to hear both sides. He has the Daily Wire, which is a news organization that is putting out content. He's become way more mainstream and palatable because his rise to the top wasn't as meteoric.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. In that realm, you only get to, like, after Kevin Samuels died, you only became the guy
if you went as hard.
Super salacious.
You got to up
but you don't got to be the guy. You could slowly get there.
Yeah, but that rhetoric in itself, the audience that's digesting it doesn't want middle of the road shit.
They don't want.
They want extreme shit. So again,
That's the price you pay them for extreme.
no, but that's what I'm trying.
Without art behind it. If you put
it's-
art behind it, you could do it. But if you don't put art behind it, like the drill music, perfect example. If you make art out of these horrendous things, we'll listen to it, we'll enjoy it, we'll take it in. If you just go on a pod, you're like, yeah, I'm out here murdering, I'm doing this. The police are calling the next day. What do you mean you did that murder?
Yo, if Tate didn't go as hard, he wouldn't be as nearly as big.
But
Yeah.
he would,
Because
His point is,
you
it
know
could
who
be.
was going harder? The dude from Fresh and Fit, Myron. The way he packages it isn't with enough comedy and with enough, I would say maybe social
A lot
proof
of
like
people,
Tate.
and I'm not picking on anyone, but a lot of people in that community tend to regurgitate stuff that I feel like a lot of us have heard if you're old enough. The thing about Tate was it's funny in a unique way and it's packaged in a unique way. It seems more thoughtful and it seems like there's more depth to it. So it was, in that sense, more quote-unquote dangerous in that it's going to get a lot more people to be like, oh, this guy's talking something I haven't
By the
heard
way, he's
before.
pivoted. I think this is a smart move by him. Because one of the things he got in trouble for was when, even on Piers Morgan, they said, do you really believe your wife is your property? And really, he's trying to quote some religious, biblical
shit.
historic things. And they're shitting on him. If he was really like, and I think that's why he's kind of like leaning into religion, that he could throw it back on religion and say, how about you go to war with religion, not me?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because before, he's literally, they're like, wait, he's explaining like, well, doesn't the father give away the wife and does the last name, all that stuff? And they're just looking at him like, so you're just saying it's property, right? Once they get that yes, you're misogynistic.
Yeah.
Now he gets to say, listen, I'm going by the letter of the Quran.
Yeah, he really convenially found Islam.
Oh,
the
is he
perfect time.
Muslim?
Oh,
now?
yeah.
Yeah,
And
you didn't see
now-
the video?
No.
Yeah.
Video of him praying. I don't know.
Which, by the way,
This
is a
bothers
good
me
move for
bit.
him because a lot of his ideals and things he says, his philosophies matches with a more traditional time that usually Islam kind of supports.
And here's the genius of it.
That's
Here's the
fucking
genius of going Islam. Liberals will go at Christianity all day. They're not going to go at Islam nearly as quickly.
Bingo.
So if you find Islam and then you can quote anything in Islam that makes it seem like it supports what you're saying, even if it actually doesn't,
Yeah.
a lot of liberals are going to be like, well, I guess.
You know what he said? He said, listen, I found Islam because I've realized it's the last religion that exists.
It's true.
And-
Well, of the Abrahamic ones, yeah.
Well, he's
does that
just
mean?
saying that he says
It's the last religion to come
Christianity.
about.
No, he says Christianity ain't shit because there's too much tolerance. So now, if you read the scripture and it says, hey, you can't be gay, you'll have a gay preacher and it'll be like, oh, you got to accept everybody. So it's kind of being hypocritical. He's like, at least with Islam, is completely, this is how you got to be, no way else. It's less tolerant.
Can I say, the point that this just proves my point. One of the most searched figures.
Oh, he actually said it.
Yeah. So one of the most searched figures in history, right? Like there was a point in time where he was the most searched person on the internet.
Oh, he said any Christian who believes in good and understands the battle against evil must convert. Now, he's smart, man.
So, but think about this. He converted to Islam, which should be news for the most Googled person to convert. I didn't even know. Why do I not know? Because he let all of his platforms get stripped from him. You never let your mouthpiece get
his
taken
influence
from
is
you.
still up. He's all over. Hold on. By the way,
He made like
close.
18 million on Hustlers University or something crazy like that. Like he's still getting his
No,
bag.
he was making
No,
great
he was
money.
like
There's
this
no
month.
question.
This
No,
month.
there's no question he's making good money. My point is he can't control his narrative. There's a difference between making money and the ability to control your narrative.